I'm 20 pounds down. And this sadness overwhelmed me because I was like, I've been here before. This doesn't mean I'm going to succeed. I've been here 100 times. I can do this through hard work every single time. Is this tool really going to work for me? And there was like this sadness. Today's episode's brought to you by my free community found at radicallyhealthy.com, where you'll get support in adding things like a GLP-1 to your meaty movement toolbox so you can look and feel your best. Hope to see you there. Today, I'm going to talk about 7 common mistakes people are doing on a GLP-1 and what we can do about it. Hi, my name is Adrienne. If you're new here, I've been on an obesity journey my entire life trying to beat this condition. I've tried everything from being on The Biggest Loser to running half marathons and restricting to gastric bypass to keto to carnivore. You name it, I have tried it. But it wasn't until I added a GLP-1 like Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, Mounjaro that I started having success and the results actually sticking. So today I want to talk about 7 common mistakes people are doing on a GLP-1 that are sabotaging their weight loss results. And I really want you to stick around for number 6 and 7 because number 6 is something I never hear people talking about. And I just want to warn you, I've recorded this 3 times now and I keep combining number 4 and 5 because they're so important and they go together. So, all right. So common mistake number 1 is dosing too high and not eating enough food for a very long time. So what is too high? I have people ask me this all the time. They ask what number is a high dose? And I don't have an answer for you. We are all so different. We metabolize this completely different. And I just want to tell you, you don't get a trophy for the number that you are. I know we come into this saying we just want a microdose, but for weight loss, sometimes we need more. So here's my definitions of the 3 different categories, okay? A microdose is you don't feel anything. It's very behind the scenes. You're only taking bitty bits because it helps you with cardiovascular health. It reduces inflammation. It's preventative for the brain stuff. It helps with the Alzheimer's dementia. So it's such a low dose that you don't feel anything at all, ever. And you're only taking it because you want the other health benefits, having absolutely nothing to do with weight loss. If you have weight to lose, I think you're going to end in the other 2 categories most likely. So low dose to me is you are taking enough that some of the quiet has happened in your head. But other than that, you're looking at all the other metrics to figure out if you're on enough. And what are the other metrics? You've lost some inflammation. You were doing a bunch of peeing, or you can just feel it in your hands, your face. You have reduced pain. You have reduced arthritis. The other things. You have almost no side effects, if any side effects at all. You're almost like a microdoser because you don't feel anything, but you're taking enough to quiet the noise so that you're not circling the kitchen all day, but you are hungry for meals. And when you go to eat your meal, you can eat your meal. If you're looking at your food, here's where number 3 is. High dose or standard dosing is you're eating and you take 2 bites and you're like, ugh. Or you look at meat and you're like, but then you look at processed food and you're like, yeah, but you barely can get 4 ounces of steak in, barely. And it was a struggle and you had to like chew it a lot and take your time. That's high standard dosing. But a lower dose is you've got the tool. It's helping you because you're not obsessed with food. You're not having intrusive food noise, but you can still get all your meals in. Okay, so why is it a problem? If we are solely leaning on this as a tool and we're taking standard or high dose, even standard dose for some people is a low dose, so I shouldn't just say standard dosing, but you're taking so much that you forget to eat all day. It's super easy for you to just eat like 600-800 calories a day. The problem there is prolonged. If we're eating that little, we're going to have metabolic adaptation. Number 2, your body's going to acclimate and you're going to have to go up, 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 up. So we're burning out the receptors and your body acclimates to it. Your body doesn't like feeling like that all the time. And so it just kind of gets used to it. Where if you're on the lower doses, you're taking less to burn the receptors out and for your body to get used to. You're also not leaning into having to have that to be successful. And so So you're on a dose where you're barely able to eat, right? And you look at meat, you're struggling to eat meat. So you're just leaning in on protein shakes and protein bars and amino supplements to get your protein in. And you're eating 600 to 800 calories, and that works great for a while. And you're losing a ton of weight. You're feeling so awesome about it. but then you will hit a stall. Your body will metabolically add it up to that. And there's this common saying, and they'll say, oh, the reason you can't get that last 20, 30 off is because those are the hardest pounds. No, you had metabolic adaptation. That's why it's hard. It's not because those pounds are actually harder to lose. It's because of metabolic adaptation. How do I know this? I have a whole group of hundreds of ketos and carnivores who got that initial weight off. They'd been stalled forever because it's so hard to lose those last few pounds. They got their hormones communicating with the GLP-1 and whoosh, they were able to lose those last pounds all the way down, all the way to their goal. And it happened pretty quickly. So we don't want to get into metabolic adaptation where we never get to our goal. So what is the ticket here? The ticket here is to use this as a supplement. It's one tool in the toolbox. We're not solely leaning on it to keep us in a calorie deficit, but we're also eating plenty of protein and we're doing the lifestyle things we're going to talk about below in the next steps. Yeah, it's just start low, go slow, and be sure you're coupling it with the other things so that you can maintain a lower dose for your body. So one of those things is eating plenty of protein, which we're going to get to. But yeah, so start low, go slow, and stay on a dose so long as it's working. If the dose is working, don't go up. There's no reason to have your body adapt to a higher dose if the dose you're on is currently working. So watch all of the things. Okay, common mistake number 2 is not drinking enough water. And I know some of these beginning ones, you've heard them before, but I'm just going to reiterate them because I know people who aren't doing it. Drinking enough water supports your metabolism and helps your digestion. When we get dehydrated, your body has a harder time burning calories. It also, your body preserves water when you're dehydrated in preservation mode. So when you give it plenty of fluid, it helps the body release whatever it needs to and just maintain a healthy water balance versus holding on for protection. When you're dehydrated, you're way more likely to have constipation and bloating. So be sure to stay hydrated. When you drink plenty of water, it helps your fat breakdown. We'll have people who will be stalled out. They'll remember, oh, I got to drink enough water, and they'll have a whoosh because truly being hydrated helps your fat cells break down. When you are dehydrated, you are actually, when you're going to do your workouts, you're going to have less strength, less endurance, and a lower performance. So staying hydrated helps you have your best performance. And it helps flush out toxins. And I know some people don't believe this, but I absolutely believe it because as I was whooshing, as I had several whooshes, I would get like a flu-like symptom for me. And I honestly believe that was the toxins. So what's our solution to drinking plenty of water? Make sure you have a 40-ounce water bottle. Don't rely on an 8, 12-ounce cup. You're going to have to fill it. And because that takes a lot of work, you're probably not going to do it. So I got a 2-pack of these on Amazon. It's in my favorites down below, but whatever, 40-ounce water bottle, maybe get 2 so you have it pre-made and I'm going to nail this today. You don't want to just lean into remembering to drink because you're not having constant food noise. You're probably not having constant food noise anymore where you were drinking instead of eating. So you really just need to keep sipping all day. Staying hydrated leads me into common mistake number 3, which is not keeping your minerals up. When we lose fat, when we're eating low carb especially, but whenever we're in weight loss mode, we are flushing out some glycogen, and the glycogen is filled with our potassium, magnesium, and sodium. So as you're flushing that, you want to replenish it, and you want to keep replenishing it as you continue to lose fat and continue to lose weight. So if you're not, here's some symptoms of low minerals: fatigue, muscle cramps, dizziness, headaches, muscle twitches like we talked about before. So you want to make sure you're keeping up on this. So especially sodium and potassium, they help your cells absorb water. If we're drinking plain water, it actually, in some cases, if your minerals are depleted, can just actually flush more and cause dehydration to be worse. So I like to add my minerals to my water to help that water be absorbed better. So magnesium, amazing for muscle cramps and better sleep. Potassium's amazing to keep your heart steady, your heart rhythm steady, and your energy up. Potassium. Sodium is amazing for your blood pressure and your fluid balance. So without these, you can feel weak, foggy, and irritable. And again, with the muscle twitching. So what is the solution? To me, the solution is to add electrolytes to my water. But what ones do we add? So many of them have sugar, chemicals, maltodextrin, citric acid. If you don't know, many of the major name brands, even in my community that people are selling, are loaded with maltodextrin. which is it's highly glycemic, so it affects your blood sugar. And that's not really helping us in this weight loss journey. And then citric acid is synthetically derived. It's not coming from citrus fruits like we'd like. And the way that they derive it is actually can often be from mold. And for people like me, it makes me super inflamed. 1/4 of the population is very, 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 very sensitive to mold. So it's kind of likely you might be one of the people who citric acid isn't your friend. I love a company called Salty. It's by a brand called Keto Chow, and there's a link down below. It's bit.ly/b Keto Chow BL Adrian. And if you use that link, you'll save 10%. No maltodextrin, no citric acid, no sugar, no fillers, just the good stuff. And my recommendation is Coco Loco. Hands down, Coco Loco. Everyone in my group is drinking it. You're going to think it's crazy to drink chocolate water, but I promise you, 1 packet, 40 ounces of water with a bunch of ice, you'll be drinking it every day for the rest of your life. I was drinking this the summer before with the GLP, and it was not triggering sugar addiction for me. I don't know, it's the way they sweeten it. It's just really good. And it actually helped me with some of the sugar problems. I was seeking for something, and this filled that void for me. And so I stopped having this cycle of shame, guilt, condemnation, because I was able to have something to fill that, but it wasn't triggering like more seeking. It was just filling that void. So anyway, I love that one. They also have amazing fruit flavors. So get your electrolytes in. That is number 3. Okay, number 4 and 5, I have a really hard time talking about them separately. So I'm just going to tell you them right up front, and then we'll go into them. So number 4, most common mistake number 4 is not eating enough protein. And common mistake number 5 is not strength training. Okay, so not eating enough protein. When you are on a dose high enough, meat is so filling that you just don't. You get full pretty easy. Like on a standard or high dose, you could get full eating an apple. It is the strangest thing as a person who's struggled my entire life to ever get full, where my husband's always been like that. Like I've seen him eat a bowl of noodles and then not eat for 24 hours. And that's not how I have ever been in my whole life. But with proper brain signaling, you are getting satiation cues to your brain a lot better. That pathway is open. And so it's easy to not want to eat meat because it's so filling. But lower your dose a little, be sure to get your protein. In the beginning, as you're trying to find the right dose, if you have to supplement, you could use like the brand Keto Chow has a clean whey protein shake, and they also have amazing beef base with strawberry chocolate vanilla, and you can get it sweetened or unsweetened. So you could do those types of things as you're playing around. And if you've struggled and you've got yourself in a spot, but you're like, I still want to get my protein. But overall, we want to be in a place where we can eat our protein. And I would prefer if it was meat. If you're eating meat, you're way less likely to need higher doses because it is satiating on its own. It's also a complete protein that's really going to nourish your body and help preserve your muscle and your bone. So we really want to make sure to be eating enough protein. So meat is going to help you feel full on less. It's going to keep you having cravings for other things if you're nice and full. It's going to help preserve your muscle, repair your tissue, and it's going to help support your hair, your nails, your hormones, and your thyroid. It also helps stabilize blood sugar as it reduces blood sugar spikes, and those spikes are what causes a lot of cravings and fatigue. So eating plenty of protein is going to help prevent that. And it's critical for your muscle and your recovery and your strength training. So the solution here is to eat plenty of meat, and it's highly suggested you eat 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of ideal weight. So women should be eating at least 100 to 120 grams of protein as many days as possible. Now, in step number 1, we talked about, not sticking on a deficit and just 800 calories across the board, right? We talked on how that's going to cause metabolic adaptation. At least in one of these takes, I talked about that. So what do we do? If you're struggling to dip into a deficit and back out, you can join radicallyhealthy.com, and in the private community, there is a 30-day journal that has a meal plan that'll help you get your protein in, help you dip into a deficit, but dip back out so you are supporting your metabolism. So that's a nice tool that's in there. Okay, so number 5, not strength training. And you'll hear this all the time of people, they'll say, what is my number 1 GLP-1 regret? And it is not strength training. sooner. If you strength train, you're going to have a way better body composition when you're done. You're not, let's all picture the people who had bariatric surgery, and because they were eating 600 to 900 calories a day for a whole entire year, they looked like a balloon that was popped. It's not a great look. Now, we don't necessarily get to fully control that. I've got loose skin. I think it's doing pretty good. Maybe it's because I strength train. Maybe it's because I've been losing 200 pounds over the last 10 years. So we don't always get to pick, but our best way to support and have the best body comp when we're done is to strength train from the beginning. Having plenty of muscle and preserving that muscle, it improves your metabolism, because the more muscle you have, the more calories you're burning at rest. Again, the body composition, you're just going to look better when you're done. It's going to protect you from regaining your weight, because the more muscle you have, the more metabolism you have to continue to be able to eat and to maintain it without, if we have no muscle and we're eating, we're going to be gaining fat. If we have more muscle and we're eating, our muscle's going to burn up that fuel. This is going to strengthen your bones and your joints, and it's going to make you more resilient. A strong person long-term is wealth. Strength is wealth, especially I've been really trying to focus on my glutes and my legs. Those are some of the biggest muscle groups in our body. So the stronger I can get those, the better metabolism I'm going to have, and the stronger I'm going to be when I'm 60, 70, 80, 90, 120. Okay. And it makes you more functional, independent for life. So what is the solution here? The solution is start with what you can do now. We don't have to join a gym today, but we can start at home doing some lunges with our own body weight, some squats, some sit-ups, some push-ups. If you need structure to make yourself do it consistently, join a gym. I really like Planet Fitness. There's a link below so you can join for just $1, but it's only $25 a month. What I love is there's a circuit. So I don't necessarily have to go in with a plan. I can just go in and do the circuit. I also love that it comes with tanning and massages just for $25. It's like a spa, and it has really long hours. So I love Planet Fitness. RadicallyHealthy.com. In that same journal with the food, I have 2 workouts for at the gym and 2 workouts for at home that can get you going. Another idea is to download an app like Gymverse is what I have. Gymverse, yes, it does cost, I don't know, $59 a year or something like that. But you can plug in your weights each week. And then when you go in for the next week, it tells you how to progressively overload. It also gives you the deload days, and you can pick full body. You can pick specific areas. You can pick, you want to become lean. You can pick, you want to become strong. You can put your goals in. You can swap the exercises out. My gym doesn't have that piece of equipment, so I'm going to swap it for this one. It's got by body part. I really like that app. So if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So we need to strength train, and the sooner you start, the happier you will be for your long-term success. Okay, number 6. This is one I never hear anybody talking about, but it's really important. And you might find this overwhelming, so just put it in your pocket if you're not ready for this one today. But the number 6 mistake is not working with someone who's good at optimizing your hormones and your thyroid. So many of us who have been struggling with our weight, it's not just because there's a GLP-1 deficiency and the signaling isn't going. Part of the clog in the system is because the other hormones and the thyroid are in the tank. And this is going to be pretty common in women who are menopausal, premenopausal, and it's going to be common in anyone who's been on a diet forever. It's also just common in our world right now because of all of the hormone disruptors in our world. From the chemicals they spray on our clothes to I've been getting my nails done for years, the dyes they put in our hair, the perfumes, even the soaps. They've even poisoned our soap. It's everywhere. The hormone disruptant is everywhere. So our hormones and our thyroid are really suffering. A lot of people, it's becoming so common that this is happening because of our environment. I don't think it's just because of food. I think it's a lot of the stuff that we're surrounded with. And we can try to minimize all those things we want, but we still can't control everything. Like if you live in an apartment building, there's internet everywhere. If you live next to a cell tower, if you live in town, there is EMF everywhere. So unless you're moving to the country and you don't have a cell phone, and you're powering your home with, I don't know, a crank or something. Anyway, okay. So before I started my GLP, I was working with someone who was good. it was a functional doctor. I still work with him to this day. He's good at, if you do this, then this effect and this effect. He was really good. And he is like 10 doctors in one. You know, I go to allopathic medicine. They send me to 20 different specialists. This guy handled it all. And he had me on thyroid medicine and bioidentical hormones before I started GLP-1. I was not sensitive to GLP-1. Even through 7.5, I really didn't feel anything. I was just tracking the other metrics. I noticed I was snacking less, but I could eat all the food that I wanted. I could snack if I wanted to snack. I had to avoid foods that were triggery because I would still be triggered into the hedonic seeking behavior. So I really had to watch that. So I just wasn't sensitive. I started working with a hormone and thyroid lady who has worked with thousands of people and has multiple of the top certifications. And she swapped out my hormone and she added hormones and she added a couple other tools. She got me sleeping through the night. My libido's back. My energy and my brain power are here so many more days than not. All of a sudden, I know what you guys are talking about when you say appetite suppression. I actually had to go down in dose after I started working with her because the appetite suppression was so bad, like I was talking about in step number 1, where I was taking 2 bites of meat and going. So after getting those optimized, the GLP-1 works so much better. So if you're not optimized, you might not get the results you are hoping for. So there's all these practices out there that are absolutely amazing and you'll hear huge things about. I could tell you like many of them, but they come with a big ticket price. And some of them come with kind of a factory feel. That's not what you're going to get with my lady at all. If you need a good person, check the links down below. There's just an email and a name. And if you tell her I sent you, she'll take $100 off your lab reading. She can also help with things like peptides, compounded peptides. She can help you with so many different tools. And she's absolutely amazing for both men and women. That is big mistake number 6, is not working with someone good on your hormones and thyroid. And one more thing on that one, you can go to your local doctor and you can try to get help. But here's the problem. They run vague labs, generally speaking, and they tell you you're normal when you're not. They rarely run the full thyroid panel. They will often give you the wrong thyroid medicine. They will give you T4 only, which helps only 2% of the people who are struggling. So 98% of the people who are being put on T4 are actually getting worse. So, and then they don't believe necessarily in bioidentical hormones because their training is to give you synthetic because big pharma funds their training. And that's all that they know about really is synthetic. And they were told that bioidentical is somehow harmful. When if we all let's just think about that for something that my body recognizes as its own, you would think that that would actually be a good thing. We're adding something synthetic that's altered. That could probably cause some complications or some issues. So yeah, let's say though you do get a doctor who gives you bioidentical hormones, they're most likely not going to give you enough to make you feel optimal because they find that it's normal to not feel good. And so you're unlikely to get optimal levels with your local doctor. So I suggest working with someone good, and I highly suggest the person that I put in the notes down below. And obviously too, so we talked about thyroid. If your thyroid is low, you are way more likely to be cold, to struggle with energy, to metabolize fat. You're much more likely to burn muscle for energy because the conversion is just all discombobulated. When your hormones aren't optimized, your cortisol is out of control, which also affects, again, that muscle burning. If you're going to be more likely to have hunger cravings and be continuing to gain visceral fat and just lack energy, and you'll struggle with your sleep, your mood, you'll be foggy, unmotivated. None of that is necessary. Get those hormones optimized so that this can be a full solution for you. You can get the optimized results with GLP-1, but you can also leave here feeling your very, very best. And number 7 is not having proper support. Don't do this alone. There's so many groups out there that are going to give you, first of all, most GLP-1 groups, they're very anti-dieting because they've tried so many diets in their life and it didn't work. And then when they said, hey, this doesn't work, they were told, well, you just need to diet harder, and nobody believes you. And so there's a lot of trauma in a lot of the community. And there's also, like in some of the GLP-1 groups, like I said, somebody said they were having muscle cramps and I said, hey, you need some electrolytes. And then I was told, well, that's that's just like eating a ramen noodle packet. That's so toxic. We shouldn't be eating all that salt. There's a lot of misconceptions out in the general world. So find a community that gets you. And also you are the sum. You are the average of who you surround yourself with. So surround yourself with people who want to succeed just like you, people who want to do all the things just like you, people who want solutions just like you. As a crowd, we are way more likely to come up with more solutions. We're also different. So yes, I could solo help you, but I may not have the exact things you have, but somebody else in the group does, and they can uplift you and give you solutions. It's also really helpful to say, I'm having a challenge, and to give that to the group and the group lift you up, or to have someone to share your victory with. This is a tough one to share victories with, because the general population, if you tell them I'm on a GLP-1 and I'm succeeding, they will say you're cheating, and you're not. This is leveling the playing field, but I'm just saying, having check-ins will keep you on track. So you are more likely to be successful if you have a place to check in at. And you're also more likely to continue to succeed when you're not alone. There's so many times in this journey, because it's emotional, when I would hit something, like I would hit the 150. When I hit the 160s, I'm 20 pounds down, and this sadness overwhelmed me, because I was like, I've been here before. This doesn't mean I'm going to succeed. I've been here 100 times. I can do this through hard work every single time. Is this tool really going to work for me? And there was like this sadness, these moments of just like doubt of, I've been here 100 times before. And I broke through. And then there was another time in the 50s. Well, I've never been in the 150s before. Am I going to break this? Or is this it for me? Nothing ever works for me. Is this going to be short term? Am I going to burn through this? Blah, blah, blah. Am I ever going to get to my goal? It was so nice to have some support, to continue to go on, to see other people's success stories, to know I'm not alone in those feelings, to just process them out loud with someone else, and to keep going knowing I have hope. You're going to learn faster and get more tools if you're in a good community. Our community talks not just about GLP-1, but all the other peptides that are absolutely amazing, and all the other tools that are amazing in your health and wellness journey. There's so much more to this than weight loss. There's your energy, your brain power, your healing an injury, your getting your strength back, your so many things. And so it's just nice to talk to other people who have amazing solutions and be inspired by other people's progress. You're also way more likely to keep the weight off if you have support. And ongoing community and coaching is going to help you continue to keep doing the things. If you have a community, you're way more likely to stay on a lower dose, because you're surrounded with other people who are just using it as one tool in the toolbox, but doing the other things too. And it's just nice to have someone to celebrate wins together. So if you need community, join radicallyhealthy.com. I have all different variations of community for you there. I have a free community where you can get all the resources. I post every resource in there. I have nothing to hide. And then there's a private community. That's where you're going to get a lot more of my time. That's where the journal is that I created with 30 days of workout and meal plans. We have 8 coaching calls a month so that you can have support and see people's faces and talk, and just really, it's not artificial. It's very, very intimate to have that community support. And we also have one-on-ones on that website. So that's the solution for number 7, is join community. Don't do this alone. So I hope you've liked these 7 common mistakes and how to alleviate them so that you have a successful journey. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you guys so much for being here. I so appreciate all of the support and the likes and the comments and the everything. So thank you guys so much for being here. Until next week, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.